and and they have a stick in their mouth. And so he put a little sign on it. It says, the first dog is the branch manager, and the second dog is the assistant branch manager. So it's two little dogs holding a branch. It's cute. Oh, I know. You have to see the picture. Okay, so this is confessing priests. It's, of course, a joke that I found, and it's appropriate. It is the Christmas season, and to celebrate the occasion, Father Bob, Father Francis, and Father Pedro join a spiritual retreat. They have such a deep, soul-searching experience that on the last day, they find themselves in the afterglow, lying on top of a hill and staring at the stars above. Father Bob, what an exhilarating weekend, my brothers. I feel so in tune with God that I just want to cleanse myself of all my earthly vices. If you are open to it, do you mind if we confess to each other's sins? Father Francis, that's a wonderful idea. Father Pedro, no, not really, I don't think. Father Francis, my brother, no need to be shy. We are all fallen creatures. Confession is such a liberating experience. Father Pedro, I don't know, I just don't. Father Bob, dear brother, it's okay, you're among friends. In fact, since I brought the subject up, I will volunteer to be the first one to confess. My brothers, I have sinned. I confess I enjoy the taste of wine in my lips. Tears start to flow down his cheeks. Every time I prepare the communion, I ask the altar boy to always add an extra glass in the chalice. I am so ashamed. Father Bob sobs uncontrollably. Father Francis, my brothers, I too have sinned. My vice is money. Late at night, I visit the collection box in my church and play with the coins and the bills in my hands. Oh, how I love the sound of the coins and the smell of the wads of money. And the women. Oh, how I love to hear their confessions, and then my imagination takes over me. I'm such a sinner. And he too cries like a baby. The two teary-eyed priests stare at the third priest, waiting for his confession. After an eternity, their quiet friend speaks up. Father Pedro says, "Oh, all right. I told you I didn't think this was a good idea. I too have a terrible vice. I love to gossip, and boy, I can't wait to get out of here." Just the visual of that, and they show a little picture of him running away so he can go talk about the other guys. So cute, let me tell you. Well, you know, I was thinking about this talk title as I was coming up here, and I called it Holiday Miracles. And I always look and try to find things, and there were 6 stories, but I wanted to share, first about a little bit about, how we all have miracles in our lives every single day. But during the holidays, for some reason, people tend to take notice of it more than they ever have before. So there are I found 6 real-life stories, and it's really quite beautiful. Oops, I don't know, oh, there we go, here we go. And I want to read this first one, because it says, a little girl's balloon message finds secret Santa. When a 5-year-old Helen from Auburn, Washington, released a balloon into the air containing her humble Christmas list. She thought it was going to the North Pole to Santa. She hoped it would reach Santa. Her wish list consisted of a doll, some clothes, and a pair of shoes, all of which would be a financial burden on her struggling family. Almost 700 miles away, Julie Sanders and her son discovered a scrap of paper on the ground in their California ranch. Although the letter was written in Spanish, they could make out a few words and discovered that it was a wish list. Isn't that great? The fact that she asked for a doll, some pants, boots, and nothing materialistic, I just knew it was a family in need. Julie told ABC News. Thank goodness they televised that, huh? She wanted to make sure there was something under the tree for Helen on Christmas morning. So Julie went shopping. She wrapped up a few toys and outfits and addressed a special package from Santa to Helen. Although the Sanders know what it's like to struggle themselves, they made a Christmas miracle happen for one sweet little girl. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Well, and it's like, you know, so much of the time we were talking, I have a little chat group that I talk to, and then other people too, you know, we got together. And one of the things that happened this week, I'm in a women's group, and we come together, and we've been coming together 13 years. We meet once a month, and we've been doing this for 13 years. So originally the idea was, because we're all practitioners and ministers, was that we were going to come together and pray for the world. And so one of my friends said, we don't really do that. So what is our purpose? What are we really here for? I mean, what have we really accomplished? And I thought, wow, that's the side of ourselves that always says, well, you're just not good enough. And I really felt that she's inquiring about her life because her husband just died, and they had been married for over 60 years. And they were together since they were young people together when they met. So I said to her, you know what? I said, I don't know about you, but for me, what we provide here is a sacred space for each other. Because sometimes we just, you know, moan and cry and gnash our teeth, you know, through the whole hour, and we're going through things. And so for each one of us, I'm going to get teary-eyed. For each one of us, we said, you know, here's what this group has done for me. For one of the gals, she has lost 2 of her siblings during the time that we've been together. Her one sister died of cancer, and the other one, he died in an auto accident. And she said, if it wasn't for this group, I don't think that I would make it, and I wouldn't have been able to talk it out, to cry, you know, to really process with all of you, and I felt safe to do that here. The other gal said the same thing. She just lost her great niece, and I have never heard of this before, but when they get caught in a truck full of corn or in a silo, you know, from the Midwest, they were playing in it, and you get sucked down, you know about this, and she was instantly suffocated, and she was 4 or 5 years old. Now I'm getting chills. Now I'll tell you the rest of the story. 2 weeks before she died, she kept saying, and I can't remember her angel's name, let's say the angel's name was, you know, Susan or whatever, and she kept saying, well, I'm going to go to heaven with Susan. And the mother thought, oh, you know, she's just talking about her little guardian angel. That's fine, you know, that's great. And she said, but, you know, and the day that she died, she came up to her mom, and she said, Mommy, I just need an extra hug, because I probably won't see you later. And so that day, they were playing, her and her brother were playing in the truck, and they weren't supposed to be in that truck. There were 2 of them. One was, you know, not full, and the other was full. They jump in it, they get caught, she immediately dies. I think the father grabbed hold of her brother's hand and kept his head above the corn so he wouldn't suffocate. So they're both feeling extremely guilty right now. But it's fascinating that that little girl knew that she was going to have that happen. So that was my other friend who was talking about it. And as we're talking, you know, we began to see the power of listening and the power of support for each other. I'm trying to think. And then, of course, my other friend whose husband just died. You know, we're all there for her. How are you doing? You know, how's your grief process? What's going on? Because no matter what happens, when we have somebody close to us die, and when we lose them, we're not prepared for it. And it's going to be a hard process no matter what. So for her, I can't even imagine what that feels like. And so finally I said, because there's 5 of us, oh, okay, then the other, we call us the sister group. The other sister just got through cancer. She was told she had terminal cancer and she was going to die. Because of prayer and because of all the support, She went to the doctor about a month ago, and she is cancer-free. So that power, when you said that, Rick, the power of prayer and the power of getting support changes everything in our lives. And so when we have a group, whether it's our group here or whether it's a friend and a group that you get together with, it changes everything. And then finally I said to the gal that had asked the question, I said, I don't think I could have survived the whole the job of being a minister, because this has probably been one of the hardest jobs I've ever had in my life. Because there's a lot of things going on. You know, we all have taken jobs and we've worked and we've done that. But what happens for a minister, and particularly I'll speak to myself, is that we have to look at ourselves spiritually and pull ourselves up. Because what we do, we have to be up here and say, hey, if I could get through it, you could get through it. And that's really it. But during those really hard times, I'm going to say probably in the first 5 years, first 2 years were really bad, but the first 5 years is that I had that group to support me, and I had a lot of people here supporting me too. So thank you so much for all of you that have come up to me and said, you know, Rev, I'm going to support you no matter what. And I got to tell you, and I'm just going to say from my heart, you being here today and you supporting the center and me, I am so grateful. So thank you so much. And that's it. So coming together, and what she thought we weren't doing anything, we are doing a lot. When you listen to someone and hold the space with your heart, when you spend time with somebody who's lonely, that is a Christmas miracle. That is a holiday miracle. And so that's what I really want you to be with this holiday. Going into a store, smile, talk to them. In the Midwest, that happens. In California, it doesn't. So really look and be with people and open up and be vulnerable, because the only thing is fear that blocks us from being with each other. And as we do that, now I've done that, it's kind of an experiment. So here's the experiment. I go into Trader Joe's and there's 2 or 3 people, you know, and you get in their checkout line all the time, right? And so I'm always like, so what are you doing for the holidays? Do you have a family? Da-da-da. So every time I get in their line, they smile at me, because they're happy that somebody took a moment, and what is it, 30 seconds, to talk to them. How many of you do that? You do. I know you do. I know a lot of you do. Because it makes a difference, and it's huge, and it doesn't take that much. It takes you a few moments to smile, laugh, and ask them how they are. That's pretty much it. So I'm going to read one more story, and then we're going to do a process, but it's not a huge process. This one's called a tiny house delivered to a homeless mom just in time for Christmas. In 2015, Francisca Murray used to work as a business analyst for an insurance company, but one hardship after another found her living in a shelter with her daughter. Although on hard times herself, Francesca learned of a man dealing with stomach cancer who needed someone to cook for him during his illness. Francesca did this gladly without getting paid. The man was so moved by Francesca's gift that he decided to pay it forward in a big way. He wanted to build a tiny solar-powered house for Francesca and her daughter to live in. But he needed to raise $25,000 in order to do this. So he put it out there for ordinary people to help. Donations poured in, but they were still short $4,500. One man even gave his last dollar to help. He says, "That's my last dollar in my account, but I know what it's like to stay in a shelter. I can't imagine what it would be like for a child to stay in a shelter." The small donation inspired an anonymous donor to step out of their comfort zone. This individual donated the last $4,500 the charity needed to buy Francesca and her daughter a house. A message left by this anonymous donor is one that can inspire all of us this holiday season. And it said, I felt inspired by that man who gave his last dollar. He gave 100%. My donation isn't my 100%, but it's pushing my comfort zone. Generosity is contagious. Isn't that beautiful? So with that, and I asked you earlier to think about something that has been challenging for you. And we're going to do something out of our financial freedom class, and it's beautiful. And we actually, there's a song with it, but I can't remember it. But we will do this. And we did this in ministerial at a gathering, and this was when the two organizations were coming together. And so we were raising and praising, and that's what we're going to do. And we took all of the original people who had been in the two organizations, and we raised and praised for about an hour during that meeting, because that energy then shifted everything, and all the ministers from the two organizations came together, and shortly after we became one, and now we're the Centers for Spiritual Living. So if you have something, and for those that are watching this, look at something in your life, and I was talking about this earlier. I'm going to do my finances, not because I think I'm poor, but that I'm tired of putting money into my guest house, okay? So I'm done. We're done. I have now redone the whole place. And if there's somebody that's an issue with you, and because I've had the miracle of healing my ex-husband and I, hey, I don't need to raise and praise him. Fabulous, Oh, and I got to share a story. So this, and I'm still like going, wow. It happens between trapezes. I love that. So anyway, we're in the birthing room, and the baby had just been born. And for me to even sit next to my ex-husband, even 2 years ago, would have been weird. So there's a chair here, and there's a couch. And here's my ex-husband, and here's me. And he just sits right next to me. And I look, and he's all comfortable and cozy. And I thought, praise God. Because that would have never happened, and I'm so grateful. So that's another milestone in my life. Woohoo! It's so fabulous. And as we let go, because I have to continuously let go, because there's an old discomfort, allow that to release out of your life, because sometimes what happens is that we continue to have this discomfort because it's comfortable, and we can let it go. Okay. So everybody ready? You have something that you want to do. You don't even have to write it down, because we're going to do this in a physical way and shift whatever it is that's going on in your life. All right? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say, I raise the, who is Donald Trump, by the way? I raise Donald Trump. How about Hillary Clinton? I raise Hillary Clinton. I praise Hillary Clinton. In the name of love. Okay, that's what you're going to do. So I'm using two because everybody has been so crazy over this stuff. And it's really, I quit reading Facebook and all that because it's just enough already. Yeah. Okay, right? It's like, no, let's focus on the positive. Let's do what we want to do. And maybe it is, throw one out for me. Anybody have one? What are you going to raise and praise?
My brother.
Your brother. Oh, good one, Denise. Woohoo! All right. All right, and everybody else, you have one? Okay, so we're going to say it out loud, but we're not going to do the same one. We're going to do a different one, but we're all going to do the raise and praise together, and then your name or the situation. All right, so some people are all upset about the government. So we're going to raise and praise the government, whatever it is. And maybe it's your job. Maybe it's somebody that you're in relationship with. Maybe it's a brother, like Denise. Barbara, what do you want to do one on?
I raise my back and knees, and I praise my back and knees.
Oh, okay. So your health. Beautiful. Okay.
Are we writing on the paper too?
You can if you want to, and I would take that home, put it on your altar, and keep raising and praising on it, okay? Because as we hold this in a space of it being different, we did this a couple weeks ago. It ain't gonna go away overnight, okay? Because what happens is that there's a we have what we call race consciousness out in the world, meaning that we get affected by all the thoughts of everybody in the world. That's what race consciousness is. So you'll see there's you know how videos go viral. That's race consciousness. Somebody goes, oh, that's so great. You know, I was thinking about one of them, there was a joke going around, and I thought, okay, and that goes around. How does it go around to millions of people in the matter of seconds? That's race consciousness. It also is, conversely, that's also the same way for anger and hatred. So if we can send jokes around or send inspiring stories around, why can't we do it with everything? And the reason why I had this idea is that there was a speaker, and my girlfriend actually has a group come together, and it's called Universal Peace, and they come together once a month, and it's a big group, and they have a presentation and a speaker. One of them was a minister who's in our movement. He's actually, I think, in Granada Hills. And he wrote down on pieces of paper, you're going to love this, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, he wrote down, Putin, he wrote down everything that everybody is really upset about, every single issue. And he didn't write down happy stuff. So he wrote them down, put them on pieces of paper, and you had to pick a piece of paper. And if you picked, I don't know, maybe you picked the government, you know, and you have to go and pray on the government, and that's what he did.
Oh.
So I know, right? So if you have that, and he said, you're going to take that home, and if you're really upset about Donald Trump, then one woman got his name 3 times. You think maybe that she needed to work on that for herself? I mean, I'm hearing this story, and I thought, this is fantastic. What a great idea. Maybe I'll do that for the service. Anyway, but this is really something that I want you to look at. If you want to do it for the government, if you want to do it for somebody that you're upset about, great. But let's do it for something in your life currently, in your life, your personal life. Because I know there's something. Can you have better health? Can you have better communication? That's what we really want to do. So look at that, because if we want to have a deeper walk with God, we have to have a deeper walk with ourselves. We have to have a deeper walk and communication with each other. We are all spirit. We are all the light. We are all the love. And that's really what it's about. And I know it's hard to hear, but it's the truth. And in that movie, he kept saying, we are all one of the many. You know, there were, I think, 9 ships. And he said, we are just one of the 9. And we come together in harmony in one. And I thought, wow, okay, that is so true. Okay, so everyone ready? And whoever's watching, we are going to raise and praise, find your issue. So take your hands up, and you start out, and we'll say it together. I raise my finances. I praise my finances. In the name of love, okay? So you're going to say it again, and I'm just going to leave it blank. I raise my health, and I praise my health in the name of love. Somebody shout out, you have a general one. I raise my brother, I praise my brother in the name of love. I raise my health, I praise my health in the name of love. And I think Barbara and George, I raise my back, I praise my back in the name of love. Another one.
I raised Vernon and Elizabeth Young and my
Okay.
$5,200.
I raise my family, I praise my family in the name of love. Another one. General, we have anybody have it? Okay, I'm going to say, I raise my connection to spirit. I raise my connection to spirit in the name of love. And another one. I raise my intuition. I praise my intuition in the name of love. Anybody got another one?
Wealth.
Wealth. Oh, good one, Denise. I raise my wealth. I praise my wealth in the name of love. Rox, you got any?
Yeah, I raise my vehicle.
Oh, yay! Okay, so this is about you want your vehicle to be perfect and paid off and running well.
Yes.
Okay, I raise my vehicle, I praise my vehicle in the name of love. Oh, I got one. Okay, I raise my utilities, I praise my utilities in the name of love. I just got a notice from the Southern California Edison, bless them. All right. And let's do Mother Earth. I raise Mother Earth, I praise Mother Earth in the name of love. And then let's praise where you're living, your home. I raise my home, I praise my home in the name of love. And then let's just do one general one, and we'll do for humanity, okay? I raise humanity, I praise humanity in the name of love. Yeah, Olivia.
How about peace on earth?
Okay, peace, let's just do peace, yeah. Okay, I raise peace on earth, I praise peace on earth in the name of love. And then I'm going to do one for all of us because we always need it. I raise self-love.
I raise self-love.
I praise self-love in the name of love. Okay, any more?
My friends.
Your friends. Beautiful, EJ. Okay. I raise my friends. I praise my friends in the name of love. Okay, this is for whether they're human children or fur kids. I raise my children and fur kids, I praise my children and fur kids in the name of love. A lot of us have that one. Okay. Good. Any more? Okay, Olivia.
Highest good for all the beings of light.
Highest good. Well, let's do light. Let's do for all light beings. Okay, simple. Okay, I raise all light beings, I praise all light beings. In the name of love. I think we hit it all. Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you think? Okay. All right. So, one more. This is, oh, perfect on kind of going on with what you were saying, Roxy. Fender Bender miracle. One woman's pricey fender bender turned into an unexpected miracle. With just weeks before Christmas, single mom Kim accidentally rear-ended another woman in the Panera Bread parking lot, and that's where she worked. Before Bohr could tell she was really stressed out, the woman that she had rear-ended. As they exchanged information, Bohr realized that this was a woman struggling to make ends meet. So Kim hit Bohr. And then as she did, Bohr goes, oh my gosh, this woman is having a hard time financially. She picked it up intuitively. So she said she realized this was a woman struggling to make ends meet, raising 2 kids. How did she know that? On her own. Instead of getting angry, Bohr enlisted friends to help purchase gifts, groceries, gift cards, toys, and clothes for the Kurzweil family. The 2 built an unexpected friendship that would last a lifetime.
Oh.
Whoa, so there you go. See how spirit works? Fabulous. Okay, and I'm going to do 2 more, and then we will move into the next part of our service. The hug shared around the world. In a photo that went viral, I was just talking about this, after a rally on November 25, 2014, a tearful 12-year-old African-American hugs a Portland police sheriff. Among a demonstration where tensions were running high, Sergeant Brett noticed a young man with tears in his eyes holding up a sign among the angry crowd that said, "Free hugs."
Oh.
The image and story will move you to tears and is the perfect reminder that rather than Republicans or Democrats, or African Americans or Caucasians, we are all human beings. Wow, I love that. Oh, by the way, we're gonna do that. We're gonna organize a hug day and go down to the park. And you freak people out when you do this, by the way. So all we do, we make a sign up and we put free hugs. And if there's 3 or 4 of us, we go to the park and the kids run up to you first. And the parents are sending them up to you. Oh, Johnny, go get a hug. And then I'm like, hey, Mama, you need a hug. So come on over and get a hug, okay? And then they'll come over kind of shy, and then they feel so good. So it's great. So we're going to do that, right? We'll have a hug day. Okay, and this is the bucket list baby. When Jenna and Dan found out that their baby would be born without parts of his brain and skull and would only live a few hours after birth, they decided to make him a bucket list.
Oh.
Oh. In the womb, Shane traveled from the Jersey Shore to Times Square, seeing sights like the Philadelphia Phillies and the Empire State Building, sights he would never see in his life. Baby Shane was born at 2:25 a.m., got to meet his entire family, be baptized, and then died peacefully in his mother's arms at 6:15. Wow.
Wow.
Now that's a conscious way to let your child go. Isn't
Yeah.
that gorgeous? Okay, and then the last one, First World War Christmas truce. Perhaps one of the most inspiring holiday miracles happened on Christmas in 1914 during World War I. Do you guys all know the story?
There's a wonderful movie
Yeah,
we could watch.
it's beautiful. According to a letter sent to his relatives, Lance Corporal Henderson relates the following tale. When the soldiers woke up on Christmas Day at 4:30 a.m., they marched to the firing line, but couldn't understand why the firing stopped on either side. When we got within a quarter of the mile of the trenches, we could hear both sides singing. Our men were singing carols, and as they finished, one of the Germans would give a cheer. To our surprise, as soon as we could see across the German lines, we perceived dozens of the enemy shouting and waving for some of us to go over there. Some of them could speak broken English and were shouting, "We no shoot and no work today." We got the order not to fire unless the Germans started, and from daybreak on Christmas morning up till late on Boxing Day, not a shot was fired on either side. So the last quote was, "This holiday season, may we find the humanity in our hearts and opportunities to practice it." Is that beautiful?
Yeah.
And they ended up having to send new soldiers in because those...
They couldn't fight each other.
Couldn't fight. They
Yeah.
played soccer that day.
I know,
And
it was
carols,
gorgeous, right?
And then they couldn't fight each other
Yeah.
after that.
Because they were sharing food with each other, they were playing soccer, you're right, and they were doing a lot of things that day. So it really does show, what can happen when you come together and that one day made a difference. Oh, it's beautiful. And so what I wanted to close with was, I've got to find a Roxy quote on here. I know I have it on here. Okay. So here is one. Oh, Bon Jovi. Nice one, Roxy. Miracles happen every day. Change your perception of what a miracle is, and you'll see them all around you. John Bon Jovi. Whoa, cool. And then she has a great one. It says, stay centered in love, and miracles happen.